Japan 2027 Postgraduate Admissions. Minasan konnichiwa. Hey friends, how are you doing? Welcome to Saral Japani YouTube channel. And in this series, we have been discussing about all aspects related to the postgraduate admissions for Japan universities that begins in 2027. So in this series, we discussed so far about how to select a university or a program or a graduate course, how to find professors that suits your research interests, how to contact the professors, and how to write email for those professors. And also in the last video, we saw what to be done, what needs to be done if a professor does not respond. So what all actions we can take if there is no response from a professor. So after this, the next logical step is that we assume that you have successfully contacted a professor, the professor has replied to you, and he is ready to accept you as his student for your master or doctoral research. So we, at this stage of this series, we assume that you have successfully contacted a professor. So what's the next logical step in the admission process? The next logical step is to submit your formal application form to the university now that a professor is finalized. So as part of the application package, there will be many things needed, which includes your transcripts of your school, universities, colleges, or all the institutions you have attended, your language proficiencies, your work experience, so whichever is applicable. So all these you might already have, or you might have to get from the universities or schools that you have attended. And along with that, you will need recommendation letters, health certificates, and other qualifications. Now, apart from that, for the graduate applications, there are two things: research plan and statement of purpose. So statement of purpose is also popularly known as SOP or SOP, and the research plan. So you might have to submit either one of these or both according to the requirements of the particular university or the program. Now what happens? Some of students get confused between a research plan and a SOP. So first you have to understand what's the difference between these two. So in this video, we are going to discuss about the differences between a statement of purpose and the research plan, how they are similar and how they are different from each other. So today's topic for this series 2027 Japan PG admissions is confused between SOP and research plan. Let's see. SOP versus research plan or research proposal. The requirement may vary from university to university and from program to program, and one or more from the below list could be asked from the applicant. So what are the things? First is the research plan or the research proposal. Some universities call it research plan, some call it research proposal, and in Japanese it is called Kenkyū Keikakusho. Then we have the statement of purpose. It is also known by personal statement by some universities, and in Japanese we call it Shibō Riyūsho. And there is a third one which is letter of motivation. So this is less common, but still it's there and is applicable for certain universities. So you might come across any of these terminologies while submitting your applications. So we will now see what are these. So what is a research plan? A research plan is the most important document, much more detailed than a standard statement of purpose. It includes your research topic, objectives, methodology, and how it fits with the professor's expertise. A statement of purpose or a personal statement. Some universities also ask for this, where you explain why you want to study in Japan, why that university, your career goals, and your motivation. So you have to justify your purpose of going to Japan. And a letter of motivation is sometimes used instead of the statement of purpose, which is basically a shorter one and a more focused one. So you need not write in great details, but it should have very crisp and clear information. So in this video, we are going to understand the difference between a research plan and a statement of purpose. So these are the main contents of a research plan. So these are the high level bullet points. So the research plan or the research proposal is basically the heart of your application. So now you know how important it is. So for any graduate application for master degree or PhD course, research plan and proposal is the main uh, part of the application, and it carries the maximum weightage. Professors will judge you mainly on this. So if they are aligned with your research topic, then you will be accepted. Otherwise, your application will get rejected. So what should your research plan or proposal contain? First is the title. It should be very clear. It should be academic, and it should be very, very specific and not too broad. So you have to write a very crisp and clear and specific title for your research topic. Next section is the introduction or the background section. Some call it background, some call it introduction. Both are basically the same, although it could like the meaning could vary, but in this perspective, it's the same, which explains the issue or the field you are addressing in your research, why your research matters, and what are the current gaps in the research. So what are the current shortcomings in that area which you want to fill up. Then comes the next section, which is research objectives. You have to clearly write what exactly you want to investigate. You have to be very, very specific and very, very clear. Then a section on the literature review. What does literature review mean? If you don't know, literature review means in the same or in the related area, what all work has already been done. So you have to summarize that. That means you have to read a lot about the previous research already done in that area, and you have to list them down, and you have to give references from published sources. You cannot give internet sources. Internet sources you can only give when the same article or the same research paper has been published physically as well. Then only the URLs are valid. Otherwise, you have to give the proper reference. So major findings in the field and how your work connects with those work. So that will form the part of your literature review. Then the methodology. So methodology is how you will carry out your research. What kind of sources you will use for data collection? What are the methods that you will adopt? What kind of experiments you will carry out to gather your data from which you will find out some conclusion, what kind of surveys you will be doing, and which all analysis you are intending to perform. So all these will be part of the methodology section. And then comes the probably the most important section of the research proposal, which is the expected outcome of your research. What you aim to find, how it contributes to the field, and then the timeline, which is a rough plan semester by semester or year by year, like in which semester what you will do and what will be the exit criteria of that semester. And finally, the references, a short list of key sources, mostly from the literature review, you have to outline in the references section. So this is the standard format of a research plan. So we will discuss more about these topics later in this video, but before going into that, let us have the same understanding from a SOP point of view, that is a statement of purpose point of view. But again, before that, few important tips related to research plan. It should be usually between 2 to 5 pages. It should not be below 2 pages. It should not be over 5 pages. Keep it formal, academic, concise. Show you know the professor's lab field, and be realistic. Japanese professors value feasibility over grand but vague ideas. So very, very important. You should not write something very, very fancy that you know that you won't be able to achieve, and you are just trying to impress the professor by writing all those things. Don't do that. Write whatever is feasible, be realistic, and also You have to know your professor very, very nicely, and you should be very, very clear what your professor is doing. Next, move on to the statement of purpose, the format here. So now, what is the main difference between a research plan and a SOP? A research plan, in a research plan, the English that you will use, that will be in third person. That means you will not write I, we, you, they. So all these kinds of things you will not write. Pronouns you will not write. You will write this has been analyzed like in the third person sense, you know. But in the SOP, you can write this first person, because this is your statement of purpose, why you want to do something, why you want to go to Japan. So here you can write using I, we, and so on. So the first section of a standard SOP format is introduction and motivation, where you introduce yourself and you try to explain why you want to study this subject. The next part will be why Japan? Why, what is the reason behind selecting Japan for your research? So we all know we want to go to Japan, but that is not the answer that you should write here. You should you should base your answer on the basis of your academic strengths, your cultural interest in Japan, or the opportunities unique to Japan for your area of research. So you have to justify why Japan is best suited for your research and not any other country. So you have to justify that in the court. Just like in the court you have to justify, the same thing here. You have to justify strongly, very strongly, that why your research needs Japan, or why Japan needs your research. It's the same thing. Then the third thing is why this university and this professor only, why not someone else? So be very specific and do a lot of research of the professor before contacting him. If you have not done it so far, there is no problem. There is, you still have time until the end of this year. So do some research. You can watch my previous videos where I have explained very clearly in detail how to contact a professor, how to find a professor on the internet, and how to contact him, how to write to him, and so on. So do that. Research about that professor's work, in which labs he is working, what all research topics he is interested in, and what all books he has published, so that you know that he is the best suitable best suited professor for your research. So that you have to justify in your SOP as well. Then comes your background, how your education skills or experience prepared you for this application, and what are your future goals, how this program helps your career or research path down the line. A standard SOP is shorter than a research plan. A research plan is 2 to 5 pages, while a SOP is usually 1 to 2 pages. Keep it professional but personal. So personal in the sense that you can write I and you can write about yourself freely, but the language should be very professional. So this is what it means. Keep it professional but personal. And avoid generic lines. Make it tailored to that professor and university. So you should not use the same statement of purpose to, for example, you are sending applications to 10 professors, to 10 universities, and you are copy pasting the same thing. Don't do that. You have to be very, very personal and very, very specific towards the university and professor. Otherwise, they will catch you and your application may get rejected. So these are the important points. And now we will go into the section by section for both research plan and SOP. So far we have seen only the high level titles or the sections. Now we will look into some more details about each section. So we again move back to the research plan, and the first section there is introduction or background. So briefly introduce the field. State the research problem or gap. Gap in the sense what the current investigations or the current research done or the research done so far lacks. Then explain why it is academically or socially important. So what is the benefit of your research basically? What is the benefit of this topic? So this is an example. In recent years, so and so topic has gained importance due to so and so reason. However, previous studies have not sufficiently addressed such and such things. Therefore, my research aims to blah blah blah. So in this way, you can structure your introduction or background section. The next section is about research objectives, where you clearly state the aims or your objectives. Break them into 2 to 3 specific objectives, and you can use these bullets to analyze so and so, to evaluate so and so, to propose so and so. So this is your research, these are your research objectives. So you see that from these examples that you are very specific to what you are trying to achieve. So do not write anything vague. Professors do not like, Japanese professors do not like vague things. You have to be very specific, and you should prove that you are already on the job, and you are already on top of your research plan, and you know it very well, what to do, how to do, and when to do. Literature review, as I explained earlier, summarize 2 to 3 key studies in your area and highlight what has been done and what is missing. Similarly, methodology, data collection, experiments, surveys, case studies, etc. What tools, techniques, or software you are intending to use, and justify why these methods suit your research and why these are the best ones in the present situation. Expected outcomes is the next section, where you describe the expected results of your research and how is it going to contribute to the academic knowledge or practical application, and also how it is going to benefit Japan. Always remember that if a country is giving you a scholarship, then they expect that you will do, or your research will help that country to certain extent, if not completely. So you have to justify that as well, that how will Japan and also your home country, which may be India or any other country, will benefit from your research outcome. Then comes the research or schedule or the timeline. So this is just a snapshot from snapshot which indicates like how we will break up your activities. So if this is a 2 year course, so this could be a master degree course, 2 year course, then and each year has 2 semesters. Then first year, semester first will be literature review and detailed research design. Semester 2 could be data collection begins. Then in the year 2, semester 1, data analysis and drafting of chapters. And in the second semester of the second year, that is the final semester of the course, final writing, presentation, and submission of the thesis. So this is just an example. It need not be like this for you. So you know it better about your research. So you can have that accordingly. And finally, the references. So list 4 to 6 academic references at least, and use the standard style of referencing. So this was about research proposal. Now let's move to statement of purpose. So in the introduction and motivation section, briefly introduce yourself and your academic background. State why you are interested in your chosen field. So as an example, you can write my academic background in so and so field and my professional experiences in so and so area have motivated me to pursue advanced research in, then you write this specific focus area, and you can add few more sentences to back up your claim. Then one of the most important sections in every statement of purpose, which is why Japan, why you want to go to Japan. There is so much of cultural differences, the language is a barrier, then why you have chosen Japan. So one thing is writing in the statement of purpose, and the other thing is in the interview also you may be asked the same question. So explain why you want to study in Japan. Talk about the advanced research environment present there. Talk about the unique technology or culture in your field. Talk about the opportunities for collaboration in Japan. Talk about the future prospects, and also talk about what benefit your research is going to be and how relevant, why your research is relevant for carrying out in Japan. Why this university and this professor? Be very specific, mention the lab, professor, or the course, and prove that this professor is the best professor for you. I am particularly interested in Professor so and so's work on so and so topic, which closely relates to my research interests. I believe the university's lab facilities provide the ideal environment for my study. Then comes the background and your preparation. So, bachelor or master studies, you can write your background and your skills, work experience, or research projects that prepared you. Academic achievements. Here you can add the Olympiad achievements if there is any, or any other achievements, or even if you have done any social work or you have volunteered somewhere. So, whatever you have, you can back up this data with that, and but be sure that you should have evidence, because when you submit the application you will be required to submit all the qualifications. So without certificates or without evidences, there is no value of writing anything on your application. So for Japanese application process, everything requires evidence. You cannot just say that I have done so and so. Even if you say all those things during the interview, they might ask you for the evidence. Future goals. In the SOP, you have to write your short term as well as long term career goals. So short term includes the complete research, published papers, academic training, and so on. And in the long term, career path, academia, industry, government, etc. So what you want to do in future, that means from in which direction you will go after completing this course, that you have to write in this section. After completing my postgraduate studies in Japan, I plan to continue contributing to this field through this so and so career path while fostering academic collaboration between Japan and my home country, whichever be your country. So this is how you have to structure your statement of purpose. So that's it, friends. We talked about the differences between a research plan and a statement of purpose. Now, depending on the requirements of the university or the program you are applying to, you may be asked to submit either both or just one of them. So, assuming you have the professor now, so keep in touch with the professor, and he will guide you further on with your application process. And I will see you again when I have some new information regarding 2027 Japan postgraduate admissions. So till then, thanks for watching this video, and keep watching other videos of this channel. And if you want to learn Japanese in a very simple and easy manner in the Indian style of teaching, then do visit Japanese lessons for beginners playlist. Or if you are in a hurry to pass JLPT and 5 and 4, then you may also subscribe to our new playlist called Elementary Japanese, which we have just started, and you can follow that playlist as well. So thank you for watching this video, and till we meet again, goodbye and good luck.